Well, hello everybody, we're back again with another laptop to repair. This is an Acer Notebook N19H3. I got this on one of the second-hand websites. It was listed as not powering on and it suffered a spill. After that spill, it just didn't power on. So let's try it. I've got the original adapter for once. I've got it plugged in. I'm going to press the power button here and see what happens. So press the power button. Oh, we have backlight on the keys. So backlight on the keys, but no display. No sounds at all. Okay, I suspect that this is all it's doing, but I'm going to plug in a display and just see if there's anything on the HDMI. As you can see, I've got myself a monitor here and I'm going to plug a HDMI cable from this laptop into that monitor and see if we get anything on the HDMI port. So let me plug it in. It's plugged in. Oh, we've got a light. And would you believe it? The display is actually working. And oh, it is actually charging as well. So it looks like it's just a display issue. Okay, so we have a working motherboard and a working HDMI port, but we've no display. Let me take out the motherboard and we'll have a look at it. I scanned in the motherboard and as you can see there is a significant amount of spill on this section here. This looks particularly nasty, and on the other side of the board at the connector for the screen there is spill debris here also. I'm actually quite surprised that this powers on, but before doing anything else I'm going to clean this off and we'll see where we are then. I cleaned off both sides of the board and I couldn't see any damaged components, but we do know that we have an issue with the screen that's connected to this connector right here, so this is where I'm going to focus on. Now, as you saw from the photos earlier on, the part of the connector that suffered from the spill was this end right here. This section of the connector seems to be pretty much untouched, but I need to know what the pins are here. So I pulled up a schematic and found out what the 40 pins of this are, and I'm going to mark them in. I've marked in the relevant pins here and I'm going to zoom in so that you can see them more closely. Now, none of the schematics seem to use the same naming conventions for these pins, so you have to do a little bit of deciphering, but fortunately it's not that difficult. Like if I look here, I can see this is VB, ATA, BK, LT in. So I think this is the voltage that powers the backlight. And the fact that there's 4 pins means that it's carrying more current, and the only thing that would be carrying any current of significance through this cable would be for the powering of the backlight LEDs. We've also got V3P3 display connection. I'm not sure what that is for. I presume it's another 3.3 volt. That's on 2 pins here. We also have on pin 10 V3P3 underscore mic, so I presume that's 3.3 volts for the microphone, which is also built into the screen. We also have V3P3 cam connection, so I would presume that's 3.3 volts for the webcam, which is also built in. We also have 2 other signals down here on 24 and 25. 24 is EDP underscore BKLT underscore LS underscore EN. So I would presume that that is the signal to enable the backlight, to switch it on and off. And then lastly on pin 25 we have EDP BKLT underscore PWM. PWM stands for pulse width modulation, and that is the system of how they control the brightness of the screen. Because there was significant spill damage here, the first thing I'm going to do is check on all of the pins here and make sure that nothing is shorted. With the laptop powered off and my multimeter in diode mode, I place my red probe to ground and I place my black probe to any one of pins 1, 2, 3 or 4, and I find that it measures 0.522. So we've just confirmed that there's no short on the input for the backlight voltage. Next I check on pins 8 and 9 for the display underscore con, and when I check here I find that it measures 0.543, so that's not shorted either. Pin 10, which is V3P3 underscore mic, measures 0.386. Pin 11, V3P3 underscore cam underscore con, measures 0.359. Pin 24, The EDP underscore BKLT underscore LS underscore EN, the enable pin, measures 0.698. And pin 25, EDP underscore BKLT underscore PWM, measures 0.814. So at this point we've confirmed that there doesn't appear to be any short circuits on any of the pins of this connector due to that spill. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to power it on again, and I'm going to check for the different voltages, particularly on pins 1, 2, 3 and 4 where we saw that there was spill damage. So with the power now switched on, I change my multimeter to volts DC at a 20 volt range. I place my black probe to ground, and I place my red probe to pins 1, 2, 3 or 4 to measure the backlight in signal, and I find that it measures 9.25. On pins 8 and 9, which are labelled as V3P3 underscore display underscore con, I measure 3.3 volts. On pin number 10, V3P3 underscore mic, I measure 3.30 volts. On pin 11, which is V3P3 underscore cam underscore con, I'm also measuring 3.30 volts. On pin 24, which is the signal for enabling the backlight, I'm measuring 0.0 volts. And lastly, on pin 25, which is the backlight pulse width modulation signal, I'm also measuring 0.0 volts. Those voltage readings seem to be okay to me. The backlight in signal on 1, 2, 3 and 4 are reading a stable 9.25 volts. I'm not 100% sure what that voltage is meant to be, but I'm going to assume that that's correct for the moment. Pins 8, 9, 10 and 11 are all labelled as being V3P3 and they're all measuring 3.3 volts, so I'm very confident that they're okay. The pins 24 and 25 for the enable and the pulse width modulation are reading 0, but I'm conscious that the screen is currently disconnected, so I'm not sure what they are meant to be, when I have the screen disconnected. I will check them later with the screen connected. Since all the voltages on this connector seem to be okay, I decided that the next step would be to plug back in my screen and carry out some further troubleshooting from there. And this is where things got really weird, guys, because I took this motherboard and put it back into the chassis of the laptop in preparation for plugging in the screen. And before plugging in the screen, I was doing a cursory check of all of the voltages, and I found that there was 0 volts on pins 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now I had literally taken the motherboard from my table, screwed it back into the laptop and done nothing else to it, but the voltages on pin 1, 2, 3 and 4, which were measuring 9.25 volts, were measuring 0.0 volts when I put it back into the chassis of the laptop. So I disconnected all power to the board, put my multimeter back into diode mode again, placed my red probe to ground, my black probe to pins 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I found that it's now measuring 0.000. So that rail is now shorted. Now I was completely baffled as to what would cause this seemingly perfect voltage rail to suddenly go short for no reason. However, whether a short is caused by somebody else or possibly by you, we still tackle it in the same way, voltage injection. So let me show you how I set that up. A lot of these laptops have a fuse on the backlight voltage rail, so I thought that would be a good place to inject and try and flush out the shorted component. That fuse is actually on the other side of the board in this laptop, and you can see it right here marked 0. So this is where I want to inject. So I introduced my DC power supply, I connected my black wire to ground and my red wire to that fuse, and I started the voltage low and safe at just 1 volt, and I decided to bring the current up slowly and see if anything would heat up that I might be able to identify it with my thermal camera. You can see my 2 wires connected to the board here. This is my black wire connected to my ground, and I did have a red wire that I was trying to connect here, but because it's a stranded wire it was more difficult to connect. So what I find is easier in these situations is to get a solid core wire. This is actually one of the 8 wires in an Ethernet cable, and I just connect that in and it's easier to solder. So with that connected and injecting 1.4 volts at 1 amp, this is what I was seeing. So as you can see, there's one particular section of the board that's heating up, and when I looked in closer on that, I found that it was one of these capacitors up here. I doused those two capacitors in flux and injected a bit of voltage again, and as you can see with my giant finger, when I remove my finger, you'll see that that one starts steaming. So that is the shorted capacitor. So next I just remove that shorted capacitor. So having removed that capacitor, I confirmed that there was no longer a short on our backlight in circuit. So I plugged the power back into this laptop again and confirmed that my 9.25 volts on pins 1, 2, 3 and 4 had been restored, and I still had 3.3 volts on 8, 9, 10 and 11 independently. So now that everything is looking okay again, I want to plug in the cable for the screen and see what happens. Now when I went to plug in the cable, I was cleaning off the bits of spill that got onto the cable itself, and this is what I spotted. Now these are pins 1, 2, 3 and 4, which are the backlight in pins on that cable, which you can see have been blown off completely. So there's no continuity between this part of the cable and this part of the cable. So I'm going to need to get that sorted or get a replacement cable before I can test this, and I've run out of time for this week. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of time on that shorted capacitor. So I'm going to see what I can do about getting this cable fixed or getting a replacement, and then we're going to work on the screen again in another video. So that's where I got to leave it for this week, guys. Still really confused about that capacitor as to why it went short. Originally there was no short there. I brought some power to the board to check voltages, and all of a sudden it goes short. I just wonder, was it the case that it was damaged from the spill, because there was spill around that area on that capacitor, and maybe when I brought power to the board it failed under load. But if you've got any comments that you think might help, please post them below, and I'll be back with another video next week.